This is where I'm very certain that creditors will be very interested in. You're wondering when payment will be made and how it's going to be made. So the details of that and where Registrar General comes in regards the payment of locked up funds. And Jemima Oware is the Registrar General, and she joins me with all the clarity. Good evening.
Good evening.
So I just want to know, must be tough for you, going through all the process up and down. Can you give us an idea?
Well, we are the official liquidator in addition to being the Registrar General. In fact, the Registrar General is the official liquidator. And with regard to companies coming to life, we normally register every company in this country. We give you an incorporation certificate or a commencement certificate. And you have specific objectives that you inform us that you're going to carry out. In this particular case, all these fund management companies were regulated by the Securities Exchange Commission. So they got licenses to enable them operate in the capital market. Mm-hmm. So when they went through infractions or unable to pay the debts of their customers or their investors when they demanded for those monies, SEC, for their own reasons, revoked their licenses. And as I think you've been informed, SEC by itself, a law, does not mandate them to appoint receivers to carry out the process. That is why they wrote to us, informing us that the very purpose for which you gave these 53 companies life, we revoked their license. So take steps to have them taken off the register. Now, SEC is neither a creditor nor a member of a private company. SEC is just the regulator. And in the acts that are used to govern liquidation of companies, SEC did not qualify under any of those. So I could not just wind up the companies because they'd informed me that their licenses had been revoked. So in my own right, I can go to the courts to petition them and ask them to wind up such companies that do not have licenses. And that's what I did. Now, this act that I operate under was initially the Bodies Corporate Official Liquidations Act, Act 180. That was the act under which SEC asked me to wind up these companies. As at May this year, it's been repealed, and it's now the Corporate Insolvency Restructuring Act, Act 1015. And under that act, I can petition the courts to have these companies wound up. So I did exactly that. It turns out that most of these companies had not updated my records. They were not in good standing, as I've been talking about all this time. And so when the bailiffs tried to serve them these petitions, many of them were not even directors still of the company. They refused to accept the service. Our petitions were scattered all over the place in the courts. And of course, time was running against us. So we petitioned the Judicial Service, and they gave us a single court to handle all the petitions. And that is what has delayed the process. So with that, the first order I got to wind up these companies was in May. Imagine, I got the letter from SEC in November. So close to 7 months, I was going up and down just trying to get, a petition, an order to wind up these companies. It's as a result of that I have 22 orders out of the 40, fund management companies that have to be wound up. Of the 22, I've only been able to gazette 20. I cannot begin anything unless I gazette those orders.
So what does it mean to gazette after you've been given the order to liquidate?
When you register a company, the whole world knows that the company is in existence. So when you're going to close down a company, you have to inform the whole world. And that is through the Ghana Assembly Press. Okay. Under the new Act 992, which has also come into being, we would have our own commercial industrial bulletin. It's not up yet. So we have to use the Assembly Press. And so when you put that notice there, everybody who has any dealings with these companies that have put out orders that I'm going to wind them up, they are on the alert. Because it's possible that these companies may owe them some money, or there are some debtors there who also owe the companies money. So you put that notice out to the whole world that I'm going to wind up these companies. That is why I'm only going to deal with 20 for now. Because the 22 orders, I had only 20 orders drawn up and signed and certified by the judge. The other two, there were issues with them And so those have been rectified. No, there's no
what
problem.
Issues? Do we know the issues?
Oh,
because these 22, I don't know which one are out. Alpha Cap Securities,
I will give
All-Time
I'll give
Capital.
you the list.
So I have the list. So I want to know the two that have been asked. If you
no, let me rather give you what I have here. Oh, they've not been asked. Their orders have been, but I have not gazetted them because I didn't get them early enough, and I needed to start the process because time was going.
Okay. Do we know when they'll be gazetted?
Oh yes, from next week. As soon as those orders are properly drawn up.
How long does it take to gazette?
Oh, it takes about a week.
Okay.
Ghana Publishing could take about a week to come out with a gazette with the names of the companies that are going to be wound up.
Okay.
Once that is done, then I can mention the names of those that I am going to be dealing with. 20 out of the 22. Okay. So I have Intermarket Asset Management Limited. It used to be CDH.
Okay.
Asset Management Limited. I think most people remember the CDH. Yes. I have Brooks Asset Management Limited. I have All-Time Capital Limited. I have Axe Capital Limited. I have Man Capital Partners Limited. I have Nordia Capital Limited. I have Supreme Trust Capital Limited. Cyrus Capital Limited. Standard Securities Limited. Alpha Capital Securities Limited. Tikowiri Capital Limited. McEllis Investment Capital Limited, Nickel Kingsbury Capital Limited, From Capital Limited, Kamag Capital Limited used to be Lifeline Asset Management Limited, Mutual Integrity Limited, Nest Capital Limited, Western Capital Limited, Galaxy Capital Limited, and Mark Assets Management Limited.
Okay, so now we have QFS Securities Limited. I haven't heard their name.
Yes.
So QFS Securities Limited, and then there's a second one, which will be Mutual Integrity Limited. So these two.
Yes. No, Mutual Integrity is there.
Has been,
Mutual Integrity is on Friday.
Okay.
There's
all
QFS.
Right, so there are two.
Yes, and another one that I would have to get the orders properly drawn up, signed by the judge, certified by the registrar. Then I will put it out in the Gazette. After that, I would now need to put out a notice within 6 weeks, a notice out informing all the investors or creditors of these companies to bring in their proof of debts and claims. I think DG has already mentioned that initially, as soon as the licenses of these fund management companies were revoked, they allowed people to bring in claims. They appointed an agent to receive the claims.